Everyone loves to travel and see the world. This is especially true for those with the time and money to take these fun trips. Senior citizens today have more time and money to enjoy traveling than they ever did before. However, things aren't as simple as choosing a random location and hitting the road. Here are some of the best travel tips and tricks for senior citizens to enjoy traveling to the fullest extent. First, it is necessary to see a doctor before making plans to travel to new and foreign locations. This is especially crucial for senior citizens, as they may need to be checked over by their physician and address any health concerns before taking off for an extended trip. Seeing a doctor will not only give everyone peace of mind, but will also be a valuable resource for getting up to date with any new medicines and vaccines needed if traveling to a foreign land. Your doctor could have information about the way medical services function abroad, as well as any health hazards in the location you plan to visit. For example, some areas are known for their poor air quality or dangerous drinking water. If this could seriously hamper or damage your health, it is imperative to plan wisely on how to address these concerns. A second great tip that falls under best health practices is to be aware of any accommodations needed to keep your medicine safe and viable. For example, many medicines like insulin that treat type 1 diabetes are stored in vials that require a cool storing facility. So, strongly consider taking a portable cooler with you as a carry-on. If this is not possible, it would be wise to carry insulin pens in one's handbag to keep close at all times. It is far smarter to keep your most important medicines with you so you don't miss any doses or suffer from any medical emergencies. Another overlooked trick to make travel a little more comfortable and healthy is carrying some snacks with you. Many people need to keep an eye on their blood sugar levels, and having a candy bar on hand can be life-saving.
If you're traveling with a diabetic, always have snacks handy in a carry-on that's close by, just in case they might need it if someone has high blood pressure or is feeling a little lightheaded.
For others, they simply require a healthy snack to keep hunger away while traveling. Taking some cut-up fruits and vegetables that travel well, like apples or carrots, will keep you energized during long and boring intervals. Third, it is important to consider buying travel insurance. This will make the trip far more peaceful, as any unexpected expenses and emergencies will be covered by traveler's insurance. What kind of emergencies? Medical expenses, trip cancellations, and loss of luggage are just a few of the problems that can be covered by insurance. This feeling of protection is worth the cost of the insurance. The fourth tip on the list of helpful tricks and tips for senior citizens is choosing the travel location. Choosing the travel destination wisely is perhaps the most important part of traveling as a senior citizen. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Consider what you want out of your trip and what you are capable of handling. For example, taking a trip to hike up a mountain in the Andes would not be a good choice for a senior citizen with asthma and weak knees. However, perhaps they would enjoy Japan, which is known for its safety and cleanliness as well as its excellent transportation system, beautiful architecture, and tourist locations. It is also crucial to properly research any tours and locations one wishes to visit beforehand. Locating the best route, length, and difficulty of the terrain is very helpful. For example, some museum and city tours provide comfortable seating for those with handicap needs. Locating the most accommodating services and knowing your own abilities and limits is the most useful thing here. While considering where to travel, one should also keep in mind what they plan on wearing to that location. Always try to pack weather and culturally appropriate items of clothing. For example, taking along a thick parka jacket when traveling in winter would be a good idea. The fifth tip to consider is transportation. How will you arrive at this location? And how will you get around once you arrive?
Find out how you get transportation for your loved one. So you can often arrange for a wheelchair like the one we have here, or for a transportation cart to go right down.
It is imperative to get ahead of this and plan things out meticulously, not only for safety and comfort, but also to save some money. Travel can be extremely expensive, but many places and transportation methods offer discounts for senior citizens. Reaching out to bus, train, and boat services beforehand and asking if they have any discounts is also valuable to do before taking off for a trip. If one has severe medical needs, asking ahead about their safety and health precautions could be of great help as well. COVID is still dangerous for senior citizens, so asking about social distancing could be beneficial. If one decides to travel by plane, it could be helpful to call and ask about any senior discounts. Many airlines, like American Airlines, will offer seniors a nice discount depending on where they plan to travel. It is important to call ahead to these places and save some money where one can, as traveling can incur some unexpected expenses along the way. This also means knowing the rules of the TSA, which have strict guidelines and strict schedules that make it necessary to arrive at the airport with hours to spare before a trip. Planning means being able to reserve and request special accommodations. Anything is possible with enough planning and persistence. Asking for wheelchair services can also be invaluable for older travelers and can typically be easily fulfilled with a call ahead. This will help get around very busy and crowded places like airports. This can also mean being allowed to board earlier than other people and avoiding the crush of impatient passengers. While on the plane, having special accommodations in place means being able to have someone else do the heavy lifting for you, like a flight attendant to assist in putting carry-on bags in the overhead compartment for you. While a person could just get fellow travelers to help, it is an extra worry that can be taken care of by just calling ahead of time and making arrangements. Meals served during long trips can come with all kinds of allergens, so calling ahead and requesting a safe alternative is also helpful.
You might want to remember to purchase the travel insurance policies that can be purchased through your travel agent in case an emergency does arise.
This can be true for any kind of person, young and old. Traveling alone can be difficult for anyone, but especially for the elderly. If you or a loved one is worried about traveling alone, a travel companion can be hired to guide and assist during a trip. There are many services and accommodations available for senior travelers, so be sure to take advantage of them. The sixth important tip is Wi-Fi. Free internet access can be a lifesaver when one does not know the area. However, this can also be a trap and a danger for the unsuspecting. What many people don't know is that public Wi-Fi comes with a lot of risks. Personal information and banking details can be stolen when using unknown networks. It always comes as a complete shock and horror for travelers who come home and realize that their bills have thousands of dollars worth of charges that they never made. Internet connections that can be accessed without a password are far less secure than those without. Using these public connections to access your personal information can be a huge mistake and leave all your data ripe for the taking by hackers or scammers. For that reason, using your company's cell phone provider and purchasing an international internet plan can be worth it in the long run. Nearly half of all travelers have had their information compromised because they were using public internet connections without any sort of protection, like a VPN. The seventh and most important tip for traveling is making copies of important documents. What may sound like boring paperwork could be the difference between enjoying a fun-filled trip and disaster. This means making copies of one's ID, driver's license, passport, copies of prescriptions, and statements of medical conditions. Then one will want to make copies of travel tickets and itineraries, as well as copies of boarding passes and healthcare and insurance cards.
Make sure you get there early because you can often get a pass to go directly with them.
That's a great tip.
Right, yeah, you can go through security right down to the gate with them.
Making 3 sets of all of these documents is highly recommended. Putting one of these packets in a carry-on bag, one for the family or trusted friends back home, and the final copy left at home. This makes certain that if anyone needs to locate these important documents for any reason, there are many places to access them. This also makes sure that if the original documents are misplaced or lost at any time, then there is a backup that can be used until the originals are located. The last tip for an amazing traveling experience is to arrange for cultural and educational tours and museums when on your trip. This will give you so much more of an insight into the place and the people you are walking among when on your trip. Coming away with a greater understanding of the world would make any trip a success. And of course, have fun. Traveling can be the best part of anyone's life, meeting and seeing new people in exotic places, but it can also be very stressful. The ultimate travel tips and tricks listed here should make any traveling much easier and enjoyable. With only a few pieces of good advice, so many disasters and stressful situations can be avoided entirely. If you have any great tips and tricks, please do not hesitate to share them in the comments down below. We always want to add to our helpful lists and keep everyone up to date and informed about the best traveling practices. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.